Chair recognizes the honourable member for Kalani.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Be somewhat short today. Madam Speaker, I rise today to give my contribution to the Supreme Court Amendment Bill 2024 and the Trial by Judge Alone Bill 2024, which we are debating together as a compendium. I will continue to support initiatives which aim to improve our justice system and, more broadly, safety and security in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. I could not, however, support the electricity and natural gas bills. The PLP seems intent on making these secret deals and not disclosing all that is going on beaming people. They are keeping the country in the dark on this matter. And what are they hiding? What are they making? Who are they making special provisions for? Madam Speaker, we all agree there is far too much crime. There are far too much crime in our country. We have a small population of 400,000 individuals, yet consistently more than 100 murders per year. This is some 5+ times what our murder rate should be. An analysis of the publicly available police crime data shows how much of a problem we have with killings. In the decades 2000 to 2009, we averaged 61.3 murders per year. In the decade 2010 to 2019, we averaged 113.9 murders per year. And much of this killing problem is situated on New Providence, our major urban center, which only has a population of approximately 300,000 individuals. We also have too many robberies, too many break-ins, too many thefts, and too many rapes and sexual crimes being committed. With so many serious crimes going on, some residents don't even report small crimes, such as people coming on their respective properties and stealing small tools, stealing plants, and other outdoor household items. Even churches are not spared. And many of our churches have bars, security screens, and other protective measures to try to deter thieves and vandals after being broken into many, many times. Madam Speaker, the PLP did not create the crime problem. It would be irresponsible for either party to blame the other for being the only factor behind the crime scourge. What I hold this administration responsible for is the policies it brings or doesn't bring forward to address problems. Our Constitution provides for jury trials for criminal matters before the Supreme Court. It is difficult to get Bahamians to come forward to serve on juries, and that difficulty helps slow the administration of justice. This trial by judge alone bill seeks to provide an alternate mode of trial for people committed to stand trial before the Supreme Court on indictment. It allows for accused people to waive their right to jury trial, and they would be able to elect trial by judge alone, where the accused have either sought and received legal advice or waived their right to legal advice. Where an accused person waives his or her right to legal advice, the bill provides that the judge shall make an order for the trial by judge alone, only if satisfied that the accused person is competent to elect trial by judge alone without legal advice. The accused person has clearly and unequivocally elected to be tried by judge alone, or the accused person understands the effects of electing trial by judge alone and files a certificate of waiver. The Supreme Court Amendment Bill seeks to amend the Principal Act to provide specifically for the making of rules to regulate the active management of civil and criminal matters before the Supreme Court. I support these bills. However, I hope the administration has made sure the trial by judge bill does not conflict with our Constitution. The PLP is not good at consultation. This is a case where I hope there is consensus with our senior legal minds, as to the constitutional viability of this legislation. The PLP has brought various legislation to Parliament before that they had to pull for more consultation. Madam Speaker, I hope the legislation has the desired effect of making cases progress faster while maintaining the principles of fairness. Our inability as a country to swiftly prosecute matters has caused a dangerous consequence. We are losing the deterrence factor. One of the ways crime is prevented is by making those considering it fair the punishment that may ensue. If there is an endless backlog and some matters never come up, would-be criminals and repeat offenders will believe there are no consequences for their criminal behavior. Madam Speaker, as you walk through the community, you would hear young men talk about crime is seriously a joke, because if they're caught, their case would take so long, or they're given bail, and they're free again. And therefore, it's just a trade, in and out, cyclical. Our inability as a country to swiftly prosecute matters is a serious concern. These young men, they then do more and more and more because they feel it's a cyclical, briefly in and out matter. We need to have an efficient, swift, and fair justice system. Would-be offenders should know the state will try them quickly if they break the law. Madam Speaker, I wish to cite a commentary in the Tribune from January of this year on how we need to address crime. The article noted, quote, intelligence gathering, good policing, various crime detection technologies, youth programs, and other measures are critical in preventing, disrupting, and addressing the behavior of gangs and criminals. It went on, But when many individuals perceive many times correctly that their trials will not be heard in a timely manner and that they will be granted bail in due course, they scoff at the justice system, creating a wider ripple effect and mindset of lawlessness and contempt for authority of all levels. The article also noted parents and teachers who deal with discipline can attest to author Mark Clayman's claim, timeliness and certainty of punishment often tend to be more effective than severity. Another observer of crime status, when the speed of repercussions drop, society loses a key deterrent against unlawful behavior. Clayman, who utilized insights from psychology, also appreciated the need for timely intervention through probation, parole, and other measures, including drug and alcohol treatment. He once said in an interview with the New York Times, quote, "When politicians say, let's hire 5,000 more police, everybody cheers. However, say, let's hire 5,000 probation officers and create cost-effective alternatives to prison, and everybody yawns." Madam Speaker, it is important that the Prime Minister makes law and order one of his priorities. We know that one of his priorities is spending millions in luxury travel and throwing his staff and ministers under the bus, blaming others and not accepting responsibility. He has had enough luxury trips during the first half of his term. He should try working at his desk in the second half of this term. The updated security warning from the United States recently harmed our country. Too many Bahamians have been killed. Too many shot with life-changing injuries. Too many have been robbed and assaulted. The Bahamian people deserve safer communities. They also deserve a Prime Minister and a government who are more serious about having a more comprehensive plan to address crime and violence. The Prime Minister has to lead with good policing if we are to do better in crime fight. Policies must be good. Good policy is not reactionary. Good policy is not coming up with a mostly public relations plan after there is another murder wave. Good policy, Madam Speaker, is not about walkabouts and speeches. We must be forward-looking and forward-leaning. We must invest more in bold social interventions to prevent young people from choosing a life of crime. Our free preschool initiative was part of our attempt to invest in young people, as were our free UB and BTVI initiatives for qualifying students. We also, through the Small Business Development Center, provided funding to scores of young people to help them realize their dreams of businesses, of business ownership. Our over-the-hill tax-free zones were also to help young people, as it has already proven successful, Madam Speaker. 49 young people who received incentives of only $122,000 were able to create 142 jobs and generate income of $4.8 million. But that program has been stopped. What now will happen to those 142 individuals who were employed? What will happen to them? If the over the Hill program, if the PLP has no ideas, I'll give you the journal. If the PLP has no ideas, I recommend they take a look at the last FNM manifesto. It is full of good ideas. One initiative was the creation of a universal after-school program. Our vision was for the government to provide resources to approved after-school initiatives around the country to ensure more children could enroll free of cost. For example, if an approved performing arts program had 50 private students and they are able to accommodate 50 more, the government could fund the additional 50 students free of charge, free of cost. Madam Speaker, I want to repeat. If an approved performing arts program had 50 private students, and that program can accommodate an additional 50, then the government should fund those 50 so that they too can become part of the program. We wanted to do this on a large national scale, adding many more children and youth to qualify after-school programs. I recommend the PLP take all the good ideas from our last manifesto and implement them. You don't have to give us credit. You hardly do. You didn't give us credit for the cruise port. You didn't give us credit for the airport and Berry Islands. You didn't give us credit for the redevelopment in Ragged Island and the solar plant. You didn't give us credit for the bridge, the new bridge between Little Abaco and Great Abaco. But you were great at cutting ribbons for all, and many you didn't even invite me to. All I want you to do is help our children and youth, especially the most vulnerable in our society. Help them to have hope. Help them, I finish in 2 minutes, man. Help them with opportunities. I am glad, Madam Speaker, for example, that the PLP took up our universal breakfast program, which they have begun to pilot. But we need to go better. We need to go bigger and bolder with a comprehensive universal food program for government-operated schools. Madam Speaker, comprehensively addressing crime requires a social vision. It is a vision this Prime Minister and PLP lack. They are clearly far more concerned about what they can get, what they're giving to those truly in need. They are concerned about transferring government statutory senior servant to other ministry not related. I support the legislation before us, but still, it needs to be a part of a much broader approach to crime. And unfortunately, it is an approach still terribly lacking from this PLP government. I thank you, Madam Speaker. Kalani supports this legislation.